are really changing all the time. Kurt Tim on the outside there as well, getting pushed around out of budget, but the BMW brigade is beginning to challenge the Mercedes 190Es now. They don't want to know from nothing to these BMWs. They just want to get in there and have a go. Unbelievable racing by the BMWs. They really are going well. Johnny Jacotta, the Venezuelan, right up there now in 6th position. So it's Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Mercedes-Benz, and then BMW, then Mercedes, then BMW. So the Mercedes threat and challenge from last year, and their dominance of the Yellow Pages 200 in its first and inaugural event last year, is being nullified by these superbly fast BMWs, and particularly Steve Soper rather, who is having a full go, and he's now challenging again. He's Soper. Will he try and go on the inside of Bernd Schneider through Yellow Pages this time? Let's see what he does. No, he doesn't try this time. We're racing with Aberdeen, and Aberdeen's been pushed all the way back down the field. It shows you 7th place now. International experience lacking, and these international drivers who are at it week in and week out, particularly in these motor cars, are showing Chris Aberdeen the way around the circuit.
He knows he's in a great race here. He knows he's in the real thing now at the moment as Aberdeen goes back another position. He's got to gather his thoughts and get into this sort of company, as Louis says. They practice this sort of racing all over Europe, Czechoslovakia and England all year, so they know each other's driving styles. But a great performance nevertheless by Aberdeen. The 600 Yokohama tyres brought to the country or flown into the country. They've got it for Steve Soap and Johnny Dakota. This seems to be paying off. They've tried many compounds here this week. They've got their number 1 tyre man, Bert Baldwin, here from the UK, looking after the tyres, looking after these cars, and they say they like the hot dry roads. This is where these tyres really come into their own. That's Klaus Ludwig, hard at work, concentrating very hard. He's lying now in 3rd position at the moment. There's Steve Soap in the Winfield BMW just ahead of him. These M3s are 4-cylinder, 16-valve racing machines. Their maximum power's at about 8.8, but they rev them to 9.4, rev limit. And looking back, we had a spinning motor car there. That's number 39. He's doing a lot of spinning. Dieter Quest, he did a lot of spinning as we saw in practice. Not his favourite corner. And he'll be on his way. It's the same place he spun in practice. But Schneider knows he's got competition, as you can see. Soper's putting on the pressure. Bridgestone tyres, there's tactics in this. The Bridgestone tyres, the Japanese tyres in the front. The Yokohama tyres are pressing, are getting closer and closer, and Klaus Ludwig is in 3rd. The next little group is Johnny Jacotta, Roland Ash, Chris Aberdeen, and I see Kurt Tim from Denmark has gone back a little bit further. Just behind them they've got Chris Nissen in another BMW. Tony Varnier is tailing him as they go around the West Bank corner. It's 2 corners in one, and that train follows the other as we go down this frightening hill. They're going down here up anything up to 240 plus. In with Ludwig, looking across there. You look at them using those curves. Those curves will all be flattened now for the Grand Prix. It doesn't worry them one little bit if they hit a curve and it pushes them across the road. Then they go into the flat curves. Shark's Teeth have gone from there as he watches Steve Soper ahead of him. It's Schneider in front. It's Steve Soper. It's Ludwig.
Just having a look there at Klaus Ludwig's windscreen. It's actually quite amazing, and something's hit that windscreen and it's spiraled on the windscreen, and that really could cause a problem later on in the race if that really decides to spread and go across his vision. There you can see it there, just obviously a little stone or pebble that has come off the car in front of Ludwig, of Steve Soper's car, and that smacked the windscreen. Now of course he's driving a left-hand drive car, so he's lucky that ended up hitting the right-hand side where a passenger would perhaps sit in this car. But if that thing spirals and continues to shatter across the windscreen, he could have a few problems later on. But Steve Soper, he is the man challenging Bernd Schneider at the moment.
That is the only standard piece of glass they got in the car. The windscreen has to be standard windscreen. The rest of them all perspex around the motor car. Of course, they've got to have the safety glass in front. We've just been given news from Kentron telemetry there that these drivers through some of these corners are pulling 2Gs at the moment, and Soper is going for it. As he comes on the inside of West Bank, he's challenging Schneider, and those Yokohama tyres are starting to work for him, and he's in the front. We've got a new leader. On lap 7, we've got a new leader. The British driver, Steve Soper, has gone to the front, and Schneider's got to make another plan. Ludwig is in 3rd position. He's getting a wee bit raggedy to use that curve. It's Ludwig we're in with at the moment. On his tail, he's got Chicotto and Roland Ash. Here's that other bunch. There's Jacoto, Ash, no, that's Soper, and Jacoto's moving in for the kill as well. He's got Ludwig in his sights. It's Soper, it's Bernd Schneider, it's Klaus Ludwig, it's Johnny Jacoto moving in. They like a nice dirty circuit, lots of stones and gravel on the road. They like a hot circuit, these Yokohama tyres do, and that's what they were praying for today, a nice hot road to go racing on. And their prayers have been answered, at least for this race, as the clouds starting to gather over Kyalami. There's the first bunch. Then we've got Roland Ash leading Aberdeen, Kurt Tim, Chris Nissen from Denmark. Tony Viana comes through, leading the next bunch. He's got Van Bayen behind him, Bergstaller, Koenig. Then it's Robbie Smith. And we've got action all the way, and Soper's getting away from them. He's pushing it. They'll have to really go some if they're going to challenge this man. Aberdeen's moved himself up into 5th position.
Ludwig's gone second.
So Ludwig's in 2nd position ahead of Schneider. Are those tyres starting to go off? Did he push too hard in the beginning? Ludwig may be planning his race, and Schneider getting pushed into the corner by Jacoto. Spins him around, Jacoto gets through. This is going to push Schneider right back. 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th spot. He's gone way back in this field as the others close in on him as well. So from 1st to about, I'd say we've got him in 7th spot at the moment. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7th spot from 1st to 7th in just one lap. That's the sort of pressure we got in this race. We've had 7 laps of this race on lap 8 rather at the moment. 25 laps in all to do. The order is Soper. It's Ludwig back in 2nd. Jacoto pushing now. The BMs are starting to come on strong. There's Jacoto in the front. Klaus Ludwig next. Johnny Jacoto. Then we've got Chris Aberdeen in 4th. Number 2 is Kurt Tim. He's moving up and down this field. He goes from 6th to 4th and back to 5th and so on. Here's this action again. As Klaus Ludwig takes his line, he closes the door. It looks like on Bernd Schneider, who spins his motor car. Johnny Jacoto plays it very safe on the inside of West Bank and holds on to his 3rd position. So as they finish 8 laps, they're coming into sight now. It's Steve Soper. This is a real turn-up. It was all Mercedes, AMG Mercedes last year. This year it looks like Yokohama and BMW are going to do it. Bridgestone tyres on the Mercedes. Well, 8 laps are gone, we've got 70 to go.
Well, Rog, interesting indeed, because Soper is lapping. His best lap time is almost 2 seconds faster than the BMWs, and Johnny Jacoto is also lapping almost a second faster than the BMWs. And in fact, Chris Nissen is also down there, and he's also lapping under 1 minute 30. So incredible stuff as far as Steve Soper is concerned. He's got something right, and he is pulling away. He is most definitely pulling away, and Johnny Jacoto is trying everything he can to get in there as well. There you can see him lying in 3rd place, but just for the time being, as Klaus Ludwig is having a torrid time, and Jacoto tries on the outside at West Bank. Unbelievable, rather out of Continental Tires corner. And down they come, and has he gone to 2nd? There's Klaus Ludwig. Yes, Ludwig's down to 3rd, it's BMW 1-2. The Winfield BMWs are 1-2, and the crowd is on its feet. You can hear the screaming and shouting as they come past the main straight, and the crowd can see BMW 1-2. They are absolutely on their feet and ecstatic. 1 minute, 1.54, 1.5 seconds the gap. And now, what's going to happen? Is Jacoto going to have a go at the man in front of him? That is Steve Soper. You've already seen 2 Mercedes-Benz 190Es take each other out, pushing Bernd Schneider back down the field. And will the BMWs just keep themselves on track? There's Klaus Ludwig, now lying in 3rd place. Well, it didn't take them much more than a 1/3 of the race distance for the BMWs to come from Steve Soper in 6th and Johnny Jacoto in 7th on the grid to make sure that they are 1-2. And as I was saying earlier on, it was those qualifying tyres that gave the Mercs the edge. There's Klaus Ludwig, a man at the office, as calm and cool, as collected as can be, but believe me, inside that car, there are all sorts of things that are going on there, and you have to have yourself 20/20 vision and the most tremendous reflexes as well. So BMW 1-2, as they come round the circuit once again, up to complete their 10th lap into double figures, 15 to go after this one. And the BMWs have taken this race by the scruff of the neck, and they are 1-2. Klaus Ludwig is lying in 3rd place. In 4th is Chris Aberdeen. Can Aberdeen find something in the latter stages of this race? But Johnny Jacoto, he doesn't want to know from nothing. Steve Soper is not getting away from him.
And I don't think they've got team instructions either, Louis. It's going to be a fight to the finish. We've done 10 laps of this race, and we've got 60 kilometers to go. Interesting, Chris Aberdeen is driving on the French Michelin tyres. They've had container loads flown into the country for just this machine, with Aberdeen in your picture now, the Kircher Mercedes. That's a works Mercedes that Aberdeen's in, and Steve Soper's lost his lead. Chicotta's going to the front. Well, how's that? World motorcycle champion from Venezuela. He's got an Italian passport, a Venezuelan driving license, and he lives in Germany. Johnny Chicotta has gone to the front. Soper made a mistake. He did that in practice as well. So we've got Aberdeen on Michelin tyres lying in 4th position. In the front is Chicotta on Yokohama's. And then we've got in 2nd position, we've got Soper, and then we've got Klaus Ludwig, and then with a ding on his doors, he got a very hard ding there as he went and took Bernd Schneider right next to his driving arm.
And Rog, in just 10 laps, you've had 4 leaders already in this race.
It's incredible. This is the type of German touring cars that we've always expected. Last year, a bit of a Mercedes procession, but this year, the real fast, the Bugatti BMWs and the Linde BMWs are here to challenge, and what a challenge they're putting on. A bit of a tyre battle going on here too. Those Bridgestone tyres might have burnt themselves out or overheated. That doesn't allow them to grip the road in this hot Highveld afternoon, and it might be all Yokohama to the end. And Chicotta goes on his way. 11 laps are gone. Steve Soper is in 2nd position. 14 laps. They're lapping here at 1 minute and 30 seconds. So we've got about 21 minutes of this race left. He's been in the wars, has Klaus Ludwig. You can see that big dent on his doors when you get closer there. Let's give you the order now at the end of 11 laps. It's Chicotta and Soper in the Winfield BMW. It's Klaus Ludwig in the AMG Mercedes in 3rd position. Chris Aberdeen, the Kircher and Dotswheels Mercedes in 4th. 5th is Kurt Tim in the AMG Mercedes. Chris Nissen is there in the BMW. Roland Ash in the Mercedes. He's back to 7th spot. Then it's Bernd Schneider. I'd hardly say limping along in 8th position, but that little spin up at West Bank has put back his chances badly. And then the second, the South Africans, 9th. A very good drive at the moment. Tony Viana is in there ahead of Leopold van Beyen, Kirk Koenig, Ralph Kellner, some of the names you might know, Stefano Battira from Italy, and we've got a man deep dug in the sand. That's Michael Hess in the M3 BMW, and he's not going to move out of that one. His race, to all intents and purposes, run. We're in with 4th place man Chris Aberdeen here at the moment. He's chasing Ludwig, and it looks like Chris Aberdeen is going to move up a spot. He's certainly looking very strong as he closes there on Klaus Ludwig. Ludwig's got a bit of acceleration coming out of there. Got to use standard gearboxes, but they can change the diff ratios, and maybe Ludwig's got a low diff ratio. Rev these cars to over 9,000. The interesting point, of course, is that the telemetry inside is the motor car of the temperatures in the cylinder head and exhaust pipe and pressures and everything else that goes on the motor car has been relayed back to the pit. You can see that area on the roof. That is going back to the pit and the revolutions of the motor, and they're able to tell exactly what the motor car is doing and how the driver is performing. They've also got another little radio in there to talk to the driver, and they've got a 3rd radio that actually, if the radio from the driver to the pits breaks down, they can actually flash a message on a little screen that's just to the side of his rev counter. The Mercedes only got a rev count in front of them, and they'll be revving those big 4-cylinder motors, 16 valve, 2.5 litre, the Evo 2 motors, to over 9,000 RPM. They take them right up to the rev limiter. They're starting to slip and slide. It's a beautiful line as he comes through the Klaus Ludwig. As he comes out of Country Corner, it's Ludwig chasing Soper, and Johnny Chicotta, to all intents and purposes, way down the road.
Well, I just wonder to myself, Rog, if Chris Aberdeen is not using his knowledge of local conditions and taking the first third or so of the race at a comfortable pace to survive and to keep his tyres nice and fresh, and now he's challenging. Watch him now. We're in the car with Chris Aberdeen. Of course, he's raced around Kyalami many times before. He knows the circuit, he knows the conditions, and perhaps that is going to count in his favour. He knows that he can save his tyres, he knows what this particular weather conditions or these particular weather conditions can mean, and he's looking after his car, and hopefully he's going to be able to pull through and make up 1 or 2 places and start challenging for the lead. Right now he is lying in 4th place, and one of the cars has spun. That's car number 16, that's Tony Viana. Tony Viana's spins coming out of Nashua. And it's interesting, Rog, to see that Viana has spun out of Nashua after the normal race distance that he would do in a Group N race.
That's true. Well, I think it is more than likely it's going to be the tyres that are going off, and Aberdeen's moved up. He's moved ahead. So Chris Aberdeen is well placed then. Don't discount him. He's on different tyres to those two Mercedes behind him. You see them coming down the road. They're the 190 4-cylinder Mercs, 2.5 litre 4-cylinder, 16 valve, very high-tech motors. Aberdeen has gone to third. He's on Michelin's, and he's going to chase those two BMWs. Chicota at the moment is lying just on 2.5 seconds ahead of Soper, and Soper is just he's also 2 seconds ahead of Chris Aberdeen. They come down towards us now. You saw Steve Soper go out of shot. It's Aberdeen next, and then it's Klaus Goodrich. Started off so well in this race. His teammate Bernd Schneider from pole position has gone back to 8th. He's sitting in 8th at the moment. Ahead of him, he's got Roland, and that's Viana going out. As Louis said, maybe it's the concentration, maybe it's the tyres, the hot road, but he just shows the skill of the man. He's able to control that one right in the way of the traffic, unfortunately, but he's back on the road and back in the race. And this is high temperature motor racing without a doubt. Aberdeen is starting to move in for the kill. Could this be the first South African ever to win a German touring car race? They've all started with on 980 kilos. They haven't got any additional weight to handicap them, and we're in with Aberdeen at the moment. Looking up from the floor, he's got a 5-speed box he's working through. You can see how hard they work. He says it's a physical motor car. The Michelin badge on his sleeve tells you the tyres that he's running on at the moment. And everything he's been doing, as we say, is being recorded in the pits. They're pulling 2Gs. We just got that from Kent on telemetry, who are doing great things in computer work at the moment, and they're telling us 2Gs going around some of these corners, and the acceleration is just on 1G as they come out of corners.
Well, it's certainly something that Chris Aberdeen will be telling his grandchildren one day. The fact that he is the leading Mercedes-Benz driver in his first German touring car race this year, and all that's ahead of him are two BMWs, Chicota and Soper. But has Aberdeen raced a clever tactical race and saved his tyres for the kill at the end? He's leading the Mercedes Challenge ahead of men like Roland Asch, last year's winner, Bernd Schneider, the Formula One driver, Klaus Ludwig, who's raced everywhere all over the world, Le Mans, and he really has been a great driver indeed. Well, there's somebody else that's getting a bit close as they come out of Winfield. That's Roland Asch. But the car that's going off there is car number 15, Chris Nielsen, and off he goes. As Roger was saying earlier on, the white BMWs not performing very well as far as they're concerned. They keep falling off the circuit.
Right, and we've got Bernd Schneider there. He's lying down in 8th position, but things can change now. He's moved to 7th with that little tussle that went on there with Chris Nielsen. The Danish driver badly burnt in a sports car race in Japan was Nielsen. He's very badly scarred. Only the parts that were covered with his Nomex suit actually, and the rest of him is very badly burnt on his legs and his face. But what a driver, in sports cars as well. A fine saloon car driver. We saw him driving at the Nürburgring, and a great performance he put up in winning that race for the M3 BMW team. It's Chicota in front. Has the gap come down? He is now just 2 seconds. He's no, it's less than 2, and Aberdeen is starting to chase. Aberdeen is starting to chase. We're looking at Tim coming down the road now, but Aberdeen is starting to give chase. Let's give you the order with 10 laps to go. It's Chicota and Soper in the Winfield BMWs. With Viana ahead of him, he's looking at the moment at Dieter Questa. He's the Austrian. He's also had a few spins in this race, but you can just see the limit they are pushing these cars to. They push him to the limit and beyond as they come out of Westbank. You can see the two corners. Normally take a tighter line there. Questa going very wide as he goes down the mine shaft. This is the IGR mine shaft, and Viana just lining him up. That's the man ahead. He once again looking very cool, calm, and collected. This driver, this favourite of the South African crowds, and you can see the hard work that Dieter Questa has been put to by that BMW to get into the final 9 laps of this race. Those tyres are starting to get very hot as the thunder clouds above, you can see them there, start to gather. We're coming down now to the total curve. Total curves, that's where the new grandstands are there for the Grand Prix racing here. The Yellow Pages Grand Prix, they're having Grand Prix on the 1st of March. Everything's being prepared at the circuit. And you can see how this remote camera works on Viana. Takes a different line to most other people. Does Questa. This allows Viana to close right up on him. He's coming alongside. He's got the powers. We watch him. He's at his back door. Who's going to get his lovely stuff as they control it from the ZDF studio? But Questa's got it as he goes into Budget Corner. And he's going to get it on the inside. No, he's closing the door. He's going to move to the right. This is Viana's chance to go on the inside. No, he defends his line. No high curves there this time, and Beyond is closed up again. This is tactical driving and home circuit knowledge, no doubt about this. And talking international, he's got him. He's going to squeeze him out as he goes into the top spot. Yes, he does it. Thank you very much. Goodbye, Mr. Cuesta. And he's ahead of him, and there's Tony concentrating. Looks in his mirror, he sees him just behind him. We've got international racing here today. We've also got a test match, an international sprint car test match at the Vereeniging Showground tonight with South Africa versus the USA. So lots of international motor racing in and around South Africa at the moment.
Well, some tremendous camera work, and there you can see what it's like from the inside of a saloon car as you attack and eventually keep patient and get past on that instance on the inside. Tony Viana into top sport S's, but that really was some fine driving indeed. So the situation then, Johnny Chikota, he leads at the moment, followed by the man in second place, Steve Soper, who for a while led this race, and in fact he was the man that set up the BMW challenge early on in the race. He then lost it and off he went. There goes Viana again. He's still being chased hard, but Viana is really going very, very well, and a great credit to South African motor racing the way he's performing today. Here's another battle that's developing further down the field with 8 laps remaining. Just 8 laps remain once again.
And there's a pair of Mercedes there starting to slow on the other side. I think that's Props. That's the man that went into the fence. Yes, that is Helga Props. At the moment, a bit of a moving chicane as the leader comes through, and Chicota's well on his way. There's Johnny Chikota from Venezuela. That's where he originates from. World motorcycle champion in the front on the in the BMW. His teammate Sofa is in second position as one of the others went wide there, and that is number 33. Another man who's had a time spinning this week is George Severick, who's getting in. And there's a come up there. It's Props again having a little battle of their own. Severick and Props are having a race all of their own, but the leaders are amongst them. And the order at the moment, we've now on lap 19, we've got 6 laps to go, and we've got Johnny Chikota, and there he is, Soper wanting through as well. Is that number 8 or is that number 9? We just catch him now as he comes up on them. He gets the man moving over. That's Steve Soper in second position. Aberdeen is about a second and a little bit behind them. And is he going to be able to challenge? Certainly the first South African and the first Mercedes-Benz in the race is driven by a Springbok. Going a little bit wide as Steve Soper comes down the road now. They finished 19 laps. They're going into 20 laps, are the leaders. And we've just got those 5 laps to go. And that's Steve Soper going very quickly indeed through Nashua Corner. So it's been a turn-up for the books here. Last year it was all Mercedes-Benz, and this year it is all BMW with those Yokohama tires. 20 laps are gone. We've got 20 kilometers to go in this race, and Johnny Chikota looks well placed to take his first win here in South Africa. It's his first visit to the country, as is it Soper's. Just looking at the roof of the car, that little bump on the roof of the car is where the camera relays its message to the helicopter, and they've all got to carry them, although they haven't got they've got cameras in the cars. We're in with Aberdeen in third position at the moment. Aberdeen, the leading Mercedes, Michelin tires, as he looks over his shoulder, and you just see how this remote camera does work. It's brilliant, lovely shots as they go into West Bank Corner. This is on his 21st lap. He's got 4.5 laps to go, and it's going to be a great drive by Chris Aberdeen. He won the Porsche Turbo Cup here in 1988. He took all the Germans on, and it looks like we haven't got a German ahead of him so far. We've got a Venezuelan, and we've got a British driver there. So it is Aberdeen in the Mercedes in third position. Klaus Ludwig is lying in fourth position. Bernd Schneider's gone back a wee bit from pole position. He's gone further back down the line. Here's Ludwig coming through in fourth position, and then we've got Kurt Tim is moving up. Tim is moving up. He's fifth at the moment in your shot now, and you can see without the shark's teeth, these drivers have learnt to use that flat piece of curbing, also to pull a bit of dirt and gravel onto the circuit if need be, if your man's too close to you behind. Ludwig goes through the shot. This is Kurt Tim, the Danish driver. A year ago we wouldn't have been saying Danish and Norwegian drivers, but now we do. We've had the Danes and the Norwegians and the Swedes out here for the kart Grand Prix, the JVC kart Grand Prix, and we've got the Danes in here driving here as well. Very nice shot. He was lying in fifth position on the grid. He's the fifth of the Mercedes, just behind Chris Aberdeen. And Aberdeen is still pressing on. He's got that challenge coming from Tim, so he's got to worry about, there's Tim coming through now. He's got to worry about catching these others in front of him if there's anything left in his tyres or in the motor car. Ludwig, and there's Kurt Tim. That's the Meridian. That's the finance company backing Mercedes-Benz, part of the Westbank Group. Somebody's parked down there, number 38. That's Alex Bergstaller in the BMW M3. His race is run for the moment. They're going to have an hour between this race and the next one to get themselves sorted out. Generally, there's no refueling allowed at all. They've done 21 laps on the orders. Chicotto and Soper. Aberdeen in shot. Then it's Ludwig, it's Tim, it's Roland Ash, and that is how they are standing at the moment. So it's BMW, and 3 Mercedes-Benz. And that wasn't the story last year, but these BMWs in the Winfield colours have certainly come to light. They're on those Yokohama tyres, as we told you. This car's on Michelin's, the French Michelin. They've got a team of technicians out here testing in the country. In fact, they photographed the whole circuit, the different sizes of the pebbles. They put a coin down to see how big the stones are. You can't believe the science that goes into these tyres. They bring all different sort of compounds out for qualifying, for practice, for hot roads, dry roads, and wet roads. Aberdeen's in third. You can see he's going to press. He's only just over a second behind. That's the man ahead of Ludwig behind him. He sees Aberdeen and Soper just going up the hill. So Aberdeen has got his 3 laps to do it, and if he's going to do it, Louis, can he do it?
Well, we're going to see now. It's just a couple of laps to go, and the tremendous pressure on these drivers now, the heat, the exhaustion, the dehydration maybe, because it's very, very hot inside those cars, and the intense concentration. 7.5 seconds Chicotto to Soper. That's no problem. 3.5 seconds odd Soper to Aberdeen, but will Aberdeen hold off Klaus Ludwig?
And now he's starting to ease it out as he goes out the corner, shifts up another gear. He'll be up to 4th, and he's got 5th to go as he goes down the hill. And here he comes inside. That's Soper ahead of him. Here's Aberdeen just behind, and Ludwig just behind him. We're in the final stage. We'll be going to the last lap in a moment or two, and that Mercedes is at full stretch and being well driven by the Springbok. He's timed it well. His South African sponsor, Colin Neal from Boswell, is saying, watch Chris Aberdeen, he might pull it off. Well, he hasn't pulled off the entire race, but what a performance this South African has given. He's got the pressure from Ludwig. There you can see him just behind. This is Robbie Smith sharing the car there in the JSN Motors car with Farouk Danga from Clarksville. He's going to drive it in the second race, and Robbie's loving this motor car. Absolutely says it's such a sophisticated motor car. He's got Aberdeen on his tail now. Robbie Smith, one of the fastest drivers, has got in the country in saloon cars as well. You've seen him in those tyre ads taken at the Hendrik Verwoerd Dam. And Robbie was the driver, and spinning once again, number 30 is Leopold, Prince Leopold from Beyond. A lot of those white BMWs, whether it's the colour or not, I don't know, but they've spent a lot of time seeing Kyalami spinning around in front of them in the last lap, and Ludwig is very, very dangerous just behind him. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. There goes Soper, there goes Aberdeen, and I think we've got our final lap. Robbie Smith moves over for him. There's Aberdeen. He's going to be in second position, in the third position. Right, that's the leader. Is that number 9? It's Johnny Chicotto. Johnny Chicotto is going to take it. The Venezuelan, and all fears we had of not having the Venezuelan national anthem are unfounded, because a technician at the SABC on his travels had picked up one over in South America, and we're going to hear it. The strains of this anthem being played out at Kyalami for Johnny Chicotto. As he comes to the line, he's going to take the flag now from Chris Wheeler. It's waiting for him. He's standing in the road. There he is. The winner of the first race in the Yellow Pages 200, Johnny Chicotto from Venezuela. And in second position, Steve Soper comes down the road. And just behind him, Soper comes through to a safe second position, making it a BMW 1-2, and just 2.9 seconds behind the Springbok Chris Aberdeen, and Klaus Ludwig behind him in 4th position. Here comes Kurt Tim in 5th position, just behind that. So we've got BMW in the Winfield colours. It's a familiar sight here at Kyalami. Finishing ahead of the first of the Mercedes, that's the Kercher Dodge Wheels Mercedes of Chris Aberdeen. Then came Klaus Ludwig, and then came Kurt Tim.
Well, tremendous performance by Chris Aberdeen, the South African, to come in third place and to lead the Mercedes-Benz brigade home. As he takes his helmet off, he must be unbelievably hot. Look at that, huffing and puffing in there. And there's the 2 BMWs, the Winfield BMWs, Soper and Chicotto. And what a tremendous battle we can expect from these 2 in the second heat, Rog, because if Soper hadn't gone off, I think we would have seen a tremendous scrap for first and second place. But of course, the first 10 laps were absolutely brilliant, and then it kind of like worked its way down into a pattern, and the pattern was BMW's 1-2, and the battle then behind them for the Mercedes-Benz to get third, fourth and fifth positions. But a great race, and it's nice to be able to say that we really have seen a very fine display of motor racing here this afternoon in the first 100 kilometers of the Galapagos 200.
Well, Louis, this is what we expected last year. It was all Mercedes, but this has certainly shown what these motor cars can do. And the big thing, of course, is it will make the Mercedes far more competitive in the second race. They now fit their second set of new tyres. They've had these tyres on for 2 sessions. That's 1 hour, 2 1-hour sessions yesterday, or an hour and 3/4 actually. We've had 2 sessions and a race on the same tyres, and now they're going to fit new rubber. See, they're opening the doors. They just let some heat out of